sit down and we're all together.
It would have been so dope if we had the other girl here. She would like click. You know.
Oh, Joanne.
Her name Joanne?
Right here?
Oh, I didn't know her name.
You all have to know each other's names. Well, good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
This is our second of 3 sessions on calming interview jitters. And we have one new face, Ms. Belkis has joined us. Oh, 2 new faces, and Cecilia has joined us. So we welcome you to the group. Letitia, Nicole, and LaKenya are returning. So we got started last week with our personality designations, where we were identifying our strengths and then looking at some of those areas that we need to improve in terms of building those job skills that employers are looking for. Were there any surprises in your dominant color? Did you think you should have been another color, and why?
I thought I was gonna be a yellow because I'm very outgoing and all that stuff, but then when we had the numbers and did the breakout, I'm a lot like green. I didn't realize I was so much a green than a yellow.
What is the one characteristic of the green that stands out that you
What stands
yeah,
out
we can
the
all just
most-
kind of go ahead and take a look at your dominant color. And you didn't get one. Let's get Cecilia one. You need the yellow though, huh? Okay. Oh, here's one. Yellow. Pass it down to Cecilia. So we have the yellow. I think of enthusiastic, and I think of a high energy personality. Is that part of the yellow on
Yes.
energy designation?
Yes.
Okay, because we're going to be looking at those main areas in terms of how we respond in an interview, and we want to use our personality traits to be able to prepare for an interview where we're focusing on our strengths. And so the whole point of doing the personality evaluation was so that we can learn more about ourselves and how we interact in an interview. If we know we're the type of person that gets flustered if things aren't organized, then maybe we need a little extra time, and so we would have to give ourselves more time to do that. But prepare is what we want to do to calm those interview jitters. And so these sessions are designed to help you to prepare for that. So thank you, Nicole. So you're green. Anybody else have any surprises about their color? Did you want it to be your favorite color? You know they're not related to our favorite colors, but
Look what mine is.
yours is.
Yeah.
Tell us what your color is.
It's blue.
Blue. Okay. And what is one characteristic that stands out real bright?
I'll say analytical. I'm very
Analytical. That means you like to analyze
Yes.
things. You like detail.
Sometimes
You
a little
like
bit
order.
too much.
A little bit
Sometimes-
too much?
Yeah, a little bit. Sometimes in certain situations, maybe a little bit too much.
Okay. Well, employers like detail-oriented employees, especially if you're in an area like data entry. Okay.
Mine didn't surprise me, but it assured me of the way I am. It proved me though that's me, like my character.
And your color is?
Green.
Is green.
It's like that I'm
so-
a helper, supporter, and that's actually me. So I was like, yes.
Very good. Very good. And then everybody else is pretty true to, it was no surprise at all. Can you
No.
guess what color Miss Jackson is?
Red.
Really?
You're a yellow. No.
Well, I would have picked yellow for myself,
You
but it's
wanted
not
to?
yellow.
No.
Yeah.
What color are you?
It is red.
Oh.
Wait.
I was like fast.
I would say that. I said red.
Yeah,
Neither.
it said red, and so I have stronger tendencies toward the red, and it could be because of the role that I'm in, which would make sense. I'm not a true red, meaning I'm not at all a very controlling person. I am not one to be quick to judge anybody. So those parts of that personality I don't have any of at all. But yes, I'm parts of blue. I like things done a certain way. I like things to be organized, and that is because the whole point of my job here is to help you all be successful in this small group. We are wanting to learn how to have successful interviews. And so a lot of facilitating that has to do with the red personality on that. So we looked at an assignment also on what do you say in an interview? What do you not say? How does that knowing what to say help to calm those interview jitters? I know a few of you have recently been on interviews, and one of my questions to you, if you're willing to share about those interviews in terms of what was a question that was not an ordinary question, one that maybe threw you off guard, you were prepared for. Tell me about yourself, and it wasn't that type of a question. It was one from a different angle. Can you think about a question that you may have had to respond to in a job interview recently?
Well, I recently had an interview yesterday, and in the interview, like I was expecting like all the other questions that a majority when it interviews that I go on ask me, but when they asked me like, you know, even though it's something simple, but it was nothing that I was expecting them to ask me, what is your definition of customer service? So I kind of did like this, like, you know, when you're having a crash of a car, I was like,
Put the brakes on.
and he was like, take your time. So I was like, for a minute, I kind of got a little nervous right then there because I wasn't sure how can I explain it. Like, I know what it is, but like, how can I put it in words for him to know that I know what it is? So that was like the part that was kind of like, oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing. And then I caught myself repeating like some things like 3 times. But he was like, take your time, it's okay, the interview's going great, you know. So I kind of gave him my little definition of what it is and stuff.
Very good, very good. You're very outgoing anyway, so it probably threw you off a little bit, but you were able to regain your composure in the interview. So you attacked that jitter, for example, in a good way. So very good. Anybody else want to share anything about a recent interview that you could think of? Okay. Now, the exercise that we're working on from the worksheet is called team statement. Let's pull that sheet out. My opening team statement. This is your 30 to 45 second statement where you're going to focus on the acronym of team. Team was selected because you think of an employer wanting to hire someone to be a part of their team. And you all are all team players in your own right. And for an opening statement, when you go into that interviewer's office, it may not be just one interview. You might have a panel interviewing you where you have 3 people. And some of the important things to do is to you acknowledge all of those people on the panel. You want to have eye contact with them. Do you shake all 3 of their hands? What do you think about that? What would you, I see a comment coming.
Yeah, in my experience, when I first got my first job in early childhood education, which was substitute teacher, there was a panel of 6 people. It's like they all reached out to greet me. I felt like going right. I'm like, okay. And then they asked me, am I bilingual? I'm like, yes. How fluent are you? And a lady popped out of nowhere speaking Spanish. So I had to switch off to Spanish.
Wow.
And it's like, she didn't think I could do it as smooth as I hope I did. I mean, I did get the job. I lasted 7 years there, but that was the first shocking interview I had.
Because it was your first panel experience, though. Yeah, and the whole thing is, you know, they have jitters too. They, meaning the interviewers, have jitters. They're normal people. I think once we learn how to prepare and even rehearse what some of our skills, look at our resume, and that's what we were doing with this exercise we're going to be discussing in a minute. But you look at those and you're able to combat those uncomfortable situations. you shook each one of their
Yes.
hands, right? And I think that would be the right thing to do because you acknowledge them. And sometimes you said she came out of nowhere. That could be common. She said she talked, so let's just test her and see. So you're on the hot spot.
Right.
Right. So
And that can be very
it
uncomfortable.
was so weird because they put me like on the seat like I am right here,
Uh-huh.
And they're like all looking at you.
yeah, and I'm like okay.
Yeah,
And I tried to do stop the saying the stuff and and stuff
The fillers.
grasping and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Because every time I would say and it's like I noticed they were jotting things down and I'm like, well.
Yeah, one interview that I went on, which I thought was really nice, is they had the questions taped to the table facing me so that if I forgot it, I could just read it. And I thought, well, that's a good idea. And there were about 5 questions, but just because they were there in front of me, and I don't know if that is a new trend, if you all will ever experience that, but I thought that was a really helpful thing during the interview. Yes, on the hot seat, they're looking at you from top to whatever they can see. Are your glasses clean? They're looking at your fingernails.
If the jury's too big.
Yes.
You know, your hair's groomed. They're like someone's very polished, you know. Yeah.
Right.
Because you're basically like selling yourself to the company to work to be a part of their team.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So the more conservative and modest you are, I think it calms those interview jitters ahead of time because you're not so concerned about your personal appearance because you've already taken care of that before the interview. So that helps you to relax during the interview. So turning to this, my opening team statement. The T is for thanks. You are expressing thanks. You might say something as simple as, I appreciate your taking the time to interview me for this position. So you're just briefly stating a word of thanks. And then the E in there is for experience. You're going to maybe name a major accomplishment or my experience. Maybe it's a company you already work for and you are going for another job. But my experience working in this field, blah, blah, blah. You fill in the blanks. And then you speak a little bit about your abilities. I'm able to get along with people well. I'm very flexible with my hours and whatever the case. Just a sentence. And then the mute just simply means to close that opening statement so the interview can start. So you would probably say, I hope that this interview is an opportunity for me to grow within the company or to be able to utilize my skills so that they can be beneficial to the clientele. So you would have to know a little bit about that company as we talked about with the resume part of
That
it.
is very important.
So we're going to be creating a sentence, and once you do them, we're going to rehearse with each other, and then we're going to memorize that opening team statement so that if I just said, hi Cecilia, you can just rattle off your team statement in a comfortable pace till it'll be a normal conversation. Same thing, Nicole and Kenya and Belkis and Letitia, where we would memorize it and kind of use that because that helps to relieve the jitters when you're going into an interview. Next week is our final session for this topic, and we're going to explore another method for explaining your skills and your experience related to your stories. Tell me a way that you have demonstrated being responsible at work. If I look at your resume and you say responsible, I'm going to ask you a question in terms of an example. And the method we'll discuss next week. We'll explain that in further detail. So we'll start out with our little team statements next week and then move into the next techniques to close out our
Project
session.
we do today.
Did you have yours done today? Oh, let's do this. Let's share some. If you don't have to, those that don't share today can share next week. Yes, but those that are prepared, I would love to hear one.
The first one that I did it was thanks extended protection for the interview. I was saying first I would shake hands and take them for the time to give me the interview, and the second one, as soon as I get to my house, I will send them a thank you note, and or email just telling them thank you again. That's one of the things that I wrote.
Good. Good.
Yeah, that's basically what I did. Thank you
Do you
for
have
taking-
another one of the other letters then, Cecilia,
Yes.
that you can share?
I have the E for experience, but I have met and exceeded many short notice projects with many ideas all at once with various time schedules.
Very good, very good. Yeah, short. I hear it coming across the table. Nicole, you
Well,
gotta.
yesterday when I had my interview, it went really well. And so when I came to class, I had wrote a thank you letter to them showing that, thank you for giving me the time, having the interview with me. I discussed the position, used my past experience. It will help me polish me up really well for the position that you guys have a vacancy. So I really was hoping, I can't wait till I get a response. So the thank you letter is really good. It just shows that you're really interested in the job.
Yes. Now, the thank you letter, of course, will come after the interview, like you just stated. For our opening statement, the thanks is just before the interview starts. So you're showing your appreciation to that employer before the interview even opens up. Okay, ladies, well, our time is up. Thank you, and we look forward to the last session.